When I told her I wasn't comfortable with her traveling with her male best friend, she didn't argue with me privately. She took it public, posted on her story, "Men really think they own you." I didn't reply, didn't argue, didn't defend myself. I just quietly changed my relationship status to single, canceled the wedding bookings, and told her she needed to find somewhere else to live. That's when everything exploded. Alright, Reddit, here's what actually happened. I'm 29, solid career, live downtown in a place I worked hard for. Life was stable, predictable in the best way. And for 4 years, Brooke was a huge part of that. We'd been together long enough to build a real life. 2 years living together, 6 months engaged. Not just talking about a future, we were already in it. Brooke had this presence about her. She worked as a PR director, and when she talked about her campaigns, she lit up like she was pitching something to the world. I didn't even care about media metrics, but somehow she made me care. Just because she cared. We had our routine. Sunday morning runs. Overpriced coffee at places that looked like they were designed for Instagram. Nights on the couch watching shows we'd already seen, where she'd steal my hoodies and I'd pretend to be annoyed. Even though I loved it, we'd stay up until 2 a.m. talking about nothing important, and somehow it felt like everything. For years of memories, shared space, wedding plans starting to get real. I honestly thought we were unshakable, bulletproof. Then March hit, and everything started to fall apart. Every woman has that one friend, the chaos agent, the one who shows up out of nowhere, flips everything upside down, then disappears once the damage is done. For Brooke, that person was Zoe Morrison. College roommate, sorority sister, the wild one, the kind of person who didn't just push boundaries. She acted like they didn't exist. 4 years, Zoe had been safely across the country in Seattle. 3,000 miles of distance keeping her influence contained. And I wasn't gonna lie, I liked it that way. But then, in March, she moved back. Zoe's back, Brooke said one evening, practically bouncing with excitement. Like this was the best news she'd heard all year. Isn't that amazing? I forced a smile. Yeah, amazing. What could possibly go wrong? She didn't catch the tone. Or maybe she ignored it. Oh, and guess what? She's been talking to Chase again too. That name, Chase. Yeah. I remembered Chase. They'd never dated, at least that's what I'd always been told. But he was always there in her stories. Just enough mentions to make me slightly uncomfortable, but never enough to justify saying anything. He was her college best friend. The kind of label that sounds harmless, until it doesn't. She wants to get everyone back together, Brooke said, scrolling through her phone like she couldn't keep up with the messages. The old group, isn't that sweet? Yeah, I said slowly, because getting the old gang back together always ends well. She laughed it off. And like an idiot, I did too. Sounds fun, I told her, because I trusted her. That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, ignoring the signs that started showing up almost immediately. It started with a group chat. Zoe made a group chat for all of us, Brooke said, showing me her phone. The name was College Crew Reunion, and it was exactly what you'd expect. Zoe running the show, posting old pictures, inside jokes, memories from a time I wasn't part of. Chase chiming in with comments that felt just a little too familiar. And Brooke? She was loving it, replying fast, laughing harder, more engaged than I'd seen her in weeks. At first, it all looked harmless. Plans for dinners, throwbacks to professors, random college stories. But there was something underneath it, something I couldn't quite explain. Like they all shared a version of her that I didn't know. Like I was on the outside, looking in. My best friend Ray picked up on it before I did. Ray's known me since high school. Works in finance. The kind of guy who reads situations like spreadsheets, quick and brutally accurate. We were out grabbing drinks when he brought it up. Dude, he said, leaning back in his chair. Your girl's Instagram is looking real comfortable lately. I frowned. What do you mean? Go look. So I did. And yeah, he was right. Her feed had changed. Suddenly it was full of group photos, Brooke, Zoe, and Chase. Different locations. Same trio. and I wasn't in any of them. Work ran late, she'd say. Or, you were busy. Or, it was last minute. Each excuse made sense on its own. But when you stacked them together, it started forming a pattern I couldn't ignore. Then came the fitness phase. Brooke had never been consistent with workouts. She'd try things here and there, yoga, spin classes, but nothing ever stuck. Until April. Suddenly, she was all in. Signed up for a CrossFit gym. Not the one 5 minutes from our apartment. No. This one was 20 minutes away. In the opposite direction. Right near Chase's office. I want to get in shape for the wedding, she said, tying up a brand new pair of expensive Nikes. Chase recommended this place. He says the trainers are incredible. Of course he did. Because somehow, everything was starting to lead back to Chase. Then came the shopping phase. And not just a little retail therapy. I'm talking full transformation. Lululemon head-to-toe matching sets, sports bras, leggings, jackets. Packages showing up every other day like she'd signed a sponsorship deal. Except she hadn't. My credit card statement looked like she'd robbed an athletic store and swiped on the way out. When I brought it up, carefully, she didn't laugh it off. She got defensive. It's an investment in my health, she snapped. You should be supportive. Supportive, right? Around the same time, her Instagram shifted. And I don't mean gradually. I mean overnight. She went from normal posts, random selfies, dinners, the occasional couple photo, to full-on fitness influencer mode. Pre-dawn gym selfies, perfect lighting, perfect angles, captions like, earning my Sunday brunch, or strong is the new sexy. But it wasn't the posts that bothered me the most. It was the comments. Chase was always there. First like, first comment. Looking good fire every single time. Too fast, too consistent, too familiar. Then came the phone. Before all this, we were normal about it. Phones on the table. No secrets. If one of us got a message while driving, the other would read it out loud. Basic relationship trust. That disappeared. Now her phone was practically fused to her hand. Always face down. Always on silent. Always angled just enough so I couldn't see the screen. And she was always texting. Just coordinating with the trainer, she'd say, at 11 p.m. Smiling at her screen. Our social life? Hijacked. Completely. We used to plan things together like a team. Now everything started with, when I told her I wasn't comfortable with her traveling with her male best friend. Chase knows this place. She didn't argue with me privately. Date nights turned into interruptions. She took it public. Vibrations posted on her story. Her attention really think they own you. I didn't weekend reply. Plans. Didn't argue. Rewritten on the fly. Didn't defend myself. On whatever Zoe I just quietly organized. Changed my relationship. Somewhere along the way, I stopped canceled the wedding bookings and became and told her she needed to find the guy who got included when it didn't everything exploded better. All right, Ray didn't here's what actually happened. We were playing basketball one career when he said it lived downtown in a place I worked hard for. He called out after draining a three. Predictable. When's the last time you and Brooke did something alone? For 4 years, Brooke was a huge part of that. We hang out. We'd been together long enough to build a real life. Alone. Not 2 years living together until Zoe months engaged. Actually, not just talking about a future. Opened my mouth. We were already in it. Because Brooke I couldn't answer. This presence about her. Not one clear memory. She worked as a PR director. That's what I thought. And when she talked about her campaigns, grabbing the ball again, she lit up like she was pitching something to the world. I didn't even care about media metrics, but somehow she made me care. Just because she cared. Brooke's entire world had been Sunday morning runs. Zoe pulling overpriced coffee at places Chase that looked like they were designed for Instagram. Me, somewhere in on the couch watching shows we'd already seen. A supporting character in a relationship steal my hoodies and I'd pretend to be annoyed. But I told myself even though I was overthinking it, we'd stay up being paranoid, insecure, clingy, talking about all the labels guys get hit somehow when they notice everything's off. For years of trying to rationalize it, shared space, downplay it, wedding plans starting to get real. Turns out I honestly thought paranoia is just pattern recognition. Bulletproof. and the pattern was about to hit me in the face.
Everything started to fall apart.
Everything blew up.
Every
on a
woman
Thursday
has
night
that
in
one
May.
friend.
We were
The
at our
chaos
spot.
agent.
The
one
one
who
who shows
Italian
up out of
place
nowhere.
we loved.
Flips
place
everything
where we had
upside
our
down,
first real date.
then disappears
The place
once the
where I'd
damage is
sat
done.
More
For
than
Brooke,
once.
that person
Mentally
was Zoe
rehearsing
Morrison,
how I'd propose.
college roommate.
It meant something.
Sorority sister.
At least to me.
The wild
I was
one.
excited
The
that
kind
night,
of person who didn't
telling
just
her
push
about
boundaries.
a project at work.
She acted like they
Something
didn't
big.
exist.
Something
For
I'd been
years,
grinding toward
Zoe
for
had been
months.
safely
If
across
this
the country
presentation
in
goes well
Seattle.
next week,
3,000
I said,
miles of distance,
leaning forward a
keeping
little,
her influence
I might be
contained.
looking at a
And
senior
I wasn't
developer
gonna lie,
position by the
I
end
liked
of the
it
year.
that way.
But then, in March,
she said,
she moved back.
Didn't even look up.
Zoe's back.
Thumb moving
Brooke
across
said one
her screen.
evening,
That's
practically
great, babe.
bouncing with
She was
excitement.
half listening.
Like this was the
half
best
texting.
news she'd heard all
Actually,
year.
Not
Isn't
even
that
half.
amazing?
More
I
like
forced a
90% texting.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Every few seconds,
What could
a quiet
possibly
laugh.
go wrong?
Something on
She
her
didn't
phone.
catch the tone.
Not at
Or
me.
maybe she
Then her
ignored it.
phone buzzed.
Oh, and guess
call.
what?
Zoe.
She's been talking
And
to
just
Chase
like
again,
that,
too.
her entire expression
That name,
changed.
Chase.
Like she'd been
Yep.
waiting for
I
it all
remembered
night.
Chase.
I should
They'd
take
never
this,
dated,
she
at
said.
least
Already
that's what I'd
standing.
always been told.
Didn't wait for an
But
answer.
he was always there
Just
in
walked
her stories.
outside.
Just
I watched
enough
her
mentions
through the window,
to make me slightly
pacing,
uncomfortable,
talking fast,
but never enough
smiling,
to justify saying
laughing,
anything.
animated.
He was her
Whatever
college
Zoe
best
was
friend.
saying,
The
it
kind
mattered.
of label that
A
sounds
lot.
harmless.
5 minutes
Until
later,
it
she
doesn't.
came back in.
She wants to get
Practically
everyone
glowing.
back together.
Excited in a
Brooke
way
said,
I hadn't seen
scrolling
directed
through her
at
phone
me in
like
weeks.
she couldn't keep up with the
Okay,
messages.
she
The
said,
old group,
sliding into
isn't
her
that
seat.
sweet?
So,
Yeah.
you know how
I said
Zoe's
slowly,
been planning something
because getting the
special
old
for the
gang
reunion
back together
I didn't,
always ends well.
But I nodded
She
anyway.
laughed it off.
Yeah, and like an
Well,
idiot,
I
she
did
just
too.
finalized everything.
Sounds fun,
Brooke
I
said,
told her,
barely
because I
containing
trusted
herself.
her.
She
That was
booked a
mistake
weekend at
number
this
one.
amazing resort
Mistake
in
number
Napa
two.
Valley,
She
ignoring
leaned
the
forward.
signs that
Isn't
started
that
showing up
incredible?
almost immediately.
Something in my
It started
chest
with a
tightened.
group chat.
Us.
Zoe made
She
a group
continued.
chat for all of us.
Me, her, and
Brooke
Chase
said, showing
the core
me her
three.
phone. The
She
name was
smiled.
College Crew
Just
Reunion.
like old times.
And it was exactly
three.
what you'd expect.
I let that sit for
Zoe
a second.
running the show,
Just like
posting
old
old
times.
pictures, inside
I
jokes,
repeated
memories from
slowly.
the time I
Noticed
wasn't part
something
of.
missing.
Chase chiming in with
And what
comments
about
that
me?
felt just a little
Asked.
too familiar.
She blinked.
And Brooke,
like the question
she was
loving
genuinely
it.
surprised,
replying
her.
fast.
Oh well,
laughing harder.
she hesitated.
More engaged.
It's kind
than
of a
I'd
college
seen her in
friends
weeks.
thing. You know,
First, it
inside
all
jokes,
looked harmless.
shared memories,
Plans for dinners.
She gave a small
Throwbacks
shrug.
to professors.
You'd probably be
Random
bored.
college
I
stories.
stared at her,
But there was
bored.
something underneath it.
I repeated.
Something I
At
couldn't
a
quite
resort
explain.
in Napa Valley.
Like they all
With
shared
my
a version
own
of her
fiancé
that I didn't know.
It's not like
I
that.
was on the outside,
she said
looking
quickly.
in.
But
My
her
best
tone
friend
had
Ray
shifted.
picked up on
There
it
was an
before
edge
I
there
did.
now. Ray's known me since high school.
Chase is like
Works
a brother
in
to
finance.
me.
You know
The kind
that.
of guy who reads
I leaned back
situations like
slightly,
spreadsheets,
held her
quick
gaze,
and brutally accurate.
Brothers.
We
I
were
said
out
calmly.
grabbing drinks.
Don't
when he brought
usually
it up.
take their sisters to
Dude,
romantic resorts
said,
in Napa Valley.
leaning back in his chair.
Stop. Your girl's
She said,
Instagram is
cutting
looking
me off.
real. It's not a
Comfortable
couple's
lately.
resort. I frowned.
It's just
a
what
nice
do you
place.
mean?
And
Go
Zoe's
look.
going to be there
So
too.
I did.
And
Yeah,
let out
he
a
was
quiet
right.
breath. Her feed had
Zoe.
changed. Suddenly it was
repeated.
full of group
The
photos.
same Zoe
Brooke,
who's been trying
Zoe,
to drag you
and
back
Chase.
into your college
Different
glory days
locations
since she moved
Same
back.
trio.
That
And
one
I wasn't
landed
in any of
hard.
them. Her
Work
expression
ran late,
changed
she'd say.
instantly.
Or
What's that
you were
supposed to
busy.
mean?
Or
It means
it was
I
last
said
minute.
it, keeping
Each
my voice
excuse
steady.
made sense on its
I'm not
own.
comfortable with
But
you
when
going
you
away
stack
for the
them
weekend
together,
with another guy.
I started forming
Silence.
a pattern I couldn't
the kind
ignore.
that fills the whole
Then
room.
came the fitness phase.
Regardless of your
Brooke
history,
had never been
there it
consistent
was.
with workouts.
The line I'd been
She tried
avoiding
things
for
here
months.
and there, yoga,
Drawn.
spin classes.
Are you
but
serious
nothing ever
right now?
stuck.
Brooke's
Until
voice
April.
rose just
Suddenly,
enough that
she was
people
all
at
in.
nearby tables
Signed up
started
for a
glancing
CrossFit
over.
gym.
You're
Not
really
the
going
one
to
to
be
5
that
minutes
guy
from our apartment.
That guy?
No.
Asked. This
The
one was
controlling
20 minutes
boyfriend.
away.
She
in
shot
the
back.
opposite direction.
The one who doesn't
right
trust
near
his
Chase's
own
office.
fiancée.
I want to
I
get in
leaned
shape
forward
for the
slightly.
wedding.
She
Setting a
said,
boundary isn't
tying up a
controlling.
brand
new pair of
I
expensive
said calmly.
Nikes. It's
Chase
called
recommended
self-respect.
this place.
It's called
says the
insecurity.
trainers are incredible.
She fired back instantly.
Of course he did.
Chase is
Because
my
somehow,
friend.
my
Everything
oldest
was
friend.
starting to lead back
If you can't
to Chase.
handle that,
Then came
she
the
shook her
shopping
head.
phase.
Maybe
And not
we have
just
bigger
a little
problems.
retail therapy.
Her phone buzzed
I'm talking
again.
full
She She glanced down at it. Lululemon
and I
head
saw
to
her
toe
matching
match
sets.
What?
Sports bras,
Asked.
leggings,
She
jackets.
hesitated for half a second.
Packages showing up every
Zoe
other day
wants to
like
know
she'd
if there's
signed a
going to be
sponsorship
drama
deal.
about this.
Except she
She
had
said.
it. My
She
credit
said
card
if you're going to
statement
make it a
looked
big
like she'd
deal,
robbed an athletic
maybe
store
she should
and
just
swiped on the way
uninvite
out.
me.
I
When I
actually
brought it up
laughed,
carefully,
short, dry.
she didn't laugh
course.
it off. Now
She
I
got
was the
defensive.
problem.
The
It's
villain.
an investment in
All
my
because
health.
I didn't want
She
my
snapped.
fiancé spending
You
a
should be
romantic weekend
supportive.
in Napa with
Supportive.
another man.
Right. Tell her.
Around the same
I
time,
said,
her
meeting Brooke's
Instagram
eyes.
shifted.
That
I don't mean
uncomfortable
gradually.
with my
I
fiancé
mean
going to
overnight.
Napa with her
She
male
went
friend
from normal
isn't drama.
posts,
Random
paused.
selfies,
It's a
dinners,
boundary.
the occasional
She
couple
didn't
photo,
respond.
to
Just
full-on
started
fitness
typing.
influencer mode.
Fast.
Pre-dawn
Thumbs
gym
flying
selfies.
across the screen
Perfect
like
lighting.
she was in the middle
Perfect
of some
angles.
emergency
Captions
negotiation.
like, a minute
Earning
later,
my Sunday
she
brunch.
looked up. Or
Zoe
strong
wants to
is the new
FaceTime.
sexy.
Just to
But
clear
it wasn't
the air.
the posts that bothered
Before
me
I
the
could
most.
even respond,
It was the
her
comments.
phone was already
Chase
ringing.
was always there.
And then Zoe.
First like,
there she was.
first comment.
On screen.
Looking good,
Big
fire,
smile.
fire, fire,
Too
every.
big.
That
Single.
polished,
Time.
fake-friendly expression
fast.
that somehow
Too
managed to
consistent.
feel condescending
Too familiar.
at the same time. Then came
Hey.
the phone.
Zoe
Before
chirped.
all this,
Okay.
we were normal about
So
it.
Brooke told me what's
Phones
going on.
the table.
Of
No
course she had.
secrets. What
If one
followed
of us
was
got a
exactly
message
what
while
you'd
driving,
expect. The other
Zoe
would read
did
it out
all the
loud.
talking.
Basic
Explaining
relationship
no,
trust.
lecturing.
That disappeared.
Me about how Chase
now her
was
phone was
basically
practically
family.
fused to her hand.
How I was
Always
reading too
face
much
down.
into it.
Always on
How
silent.
this was
Always
completely
angled
normal.
just enough
And
so
then
I
the
couldn't
word
see
came
the
out.
screen. And she was
Insecure.
always texting.
I tried to stay
just
calm.
coordinating
Tried
with
to
the
be
trainer.
reasonable, she'd say.
Siblings
At
don't
11
usually
p.m.
book romantic resorts together. Smiling
I said.
at her screen.
She laughed.
Our social
Actually
life
laughed.
hijacked. Like I just said
Completely.
something ridiculous.
We used to plan
And Brooke,
things together.
she
like
didn't
a team.
defend me.
Now everything
back me
started
up.
with, didn't even try to meet me halfway. She just sat there, nodding along. Like everything Zoe was saying made perfect sense. Like I was the one who needed correcting. Then came the final hit. Well, Chase is really excited about this, Zoe added casually. When I told her I wasn't comfortable with her traveling with her male best friend, Chase knows this place. She didn't argue with date nights turned into interruption in public. Vibration posted on her story. Didn't
Her
make a
attention
scene.
really
Gone
think
I
I
just
just
called
called
for the check. I didn't
reply.
reply. The ride home
Didn't
was
argue.
written on the
Did
fly.
have to defend
Depending
myself.
on
The
whatever
kind of
Zoe
silence I just
has
quietly
more
changed
than
my
words
relationship
ever. Somewhere
status
along
to
the
say
way,
her
I
phone
stopped canceled
not
the wedding
silent
bookings and became
constant
told her she
optional.
needed to find
Message
somewhere
who
else to
got
live.
included
That's
when it's
when
Zoe
everything
everything
exploded.
reinforcing
All right,
every
Reddit,
didn't
here's what
telling
actually
her
happened.
she was
We
right.
were playing
29
basketball
I was the
when
problem.
he said it
Lived
straight.
downtown
When we pulled
in a
into
place
the
I worked
driveway,
hard
he
for.
called out
She
after
finally
draining
turned
a
stable.
three. So
Predictable
when's it going to
in
be
the
best
you
way?
and Brooke did
She
something
asked.
for
4 years.
Her tone
Brooke
was
was
sharp
a huge
now.
part
We
of
hang
that.
out.
Defensive.
We've been together
No.
long
He
enough to
cut
build
in.
a
Are you
real
going to
life.
trust
Alone.
me?
Not
2 years
are you
alone
going to be
together,
the jealous
Zoe's
fiancé
engaged.
who ruined
Actually,
not
not
just
just
talking about
I
a
looked
future.
at her.
Opened my mouth.
Really
We were
looked
already
and
in it.
And
Because
for
I
the
could
first
have
time in
presence
4 years,
about
not
her.
one clear
I didn't
memory
recognize
as a
the
PR
That's what I
director
thought.
next to
And
me.
when she talked about
I'm
her
going to be the
camping
guy.
ball again,
She lit
I
up
said
like
she's
she's
got
got
a
a new
new
priority.
priority.
Who doesn't
role.
pretend
I
they
didn't
live
even
normal
care
about
in the
metrics,
but
and you're
somehow
not
she
want to
made
go
the
to
top of
Napa
it.
with Chase
Just
because
wasn't
she
wrong.
cared.
Her eyes
Brooke's
had our
entire
routine,
world
but don't
had been
expect
Sunday
me to
morning
act
runs.
like it's
Zoe
okay.
overpriced
She
coffee
didn't say
at
another
places
word.
that looked there
just
beside
opened
her.
the door and
me
Instagram.
slammed it
Somewhere
hard
in
in
the
the
background.
watching shows we'd
That
already
supporting
seen.
character
She slept
in
in
a
her
relationship
steal my
that
hoodies.
we didn't
and I pretend
mind.
to be annoyed.
But
Not
I told
once,
myself
even though
the
I
next
loved
morning
overthinking it.
we'd stay
She
up
was
being
gone.
paranoid.
I woke up
insecure.
inside.
An empty
talking
apartment.
all the labels
got
and
missing
somehow when they noticed
her
everything's
weekend
off.
bag was
For
gone.
years
Kept
of
trying to
memory,
rationalize it.
shared
The
space.
one we
Downplay
bought
it.
for
Wedding
our Europe
plans
trip
starting
last
to
year.
get
Turns
real.
out,
The gym bag
I honestly
sometimes
thought
paranoia
paranoia
is
is
just
pattern
She
recognition.
never worked out,
And then
March
March
was about to hit
unless
me in the
everything
face.
started
Pushed
to
the
fall
thought
everything
away.
blew up.
Every
Every
Thursday
Thursday
night
night
got
got
dressed.
dressed.
We were
Tried
at
our
our
agent.
spot.
Because
The
one
one
shows
shows
up out of nowhere.
A lot.
Flip
Place
every
where we
huge
had our
presentation
first
at
real
work.
date.
Then disappears
6
once
months
the
of
effort
effort
done.
riding on
More
her.
than
Brooke,
once.
late
That
nights,
person was
mentally
Zoe
rehearsing
Hershey,
how I'd
college
everything.
roommate.
It meant
was a
something.
sorority sister.
At least looking at a
while I
promotion.
was excited
The
that
kind
I
of
couldn't
person who
focus,
didn't
telling
just
her
push
about
boundaries.
the project
Because
at work.
every
She
time
acted
I
like
walked
something
past the
past
closet,
something I
I saw the
grinding
empty
toward
Zoe
is
had
where
been
her
safely
things
if this
across the
presentation
country,
goes
then my
well
phone
next
buzzed.
week,
3,000
Instagram
miles of
notifications
distance
keeping her, and there she was. I might be looking at a
and I wasn't going to lie.
position by the end
I
of the
liked it
year.
that way.
Coffee in hand.
Then in March,
that same
she
bright
moved
smile.
didn't even look
The
up.
one I
Zoe's
hadn't
back.
seen
Directed
directed
at
at
one
one
evening.
evening. She was
Crackling
wearing one of those new
she was
workout
half
sets.
listening.
Like this
The
was the best
expensive
news
ones.
she'd heard all
The
year.
ones I'd been paying
Isn't
for.
that amazing?
And she looked
more
I
like
forced a
90%
smile.
genuinely
Texting.
happy.
Amazing.
Every few
The caption
seconds
hit
hit
harder
harder
than
than
anything
anything
else.
else. Something on
She didn't
Some
catch
people
the tone,
call it
not
running
away.
away.
Maybe she
Then her
ignored
phone
phone
running
buzz.
toward
and
half
guess
calls.
what?
So
She's
she's been
no
talking
apology
to Chase again.
Her entire
Live your truth
expression
changed.
I just
Chase
stared.
looked
She'd
at
been
it.
waiting for
The
her
comments
comments
were
were
flooding
flooding
in.
I should
They'd
never
never dated.
dated.
Queen
At
of Fire.
least
Already
that's what I'd
standing.
always
Live your
been
best
told.
life.
Wait for an
But he was
answer.
always
Some
there
men
to
just
handle
handle a
side.
strong woman.
Just
I watched
enough
her
mention
through
the
thick
window.
masculinity
Pace
is
comfortable,
so
talking
outdated,
fast,
but never
and
enough
right
to justify
Zoe.
saying anything.
So
Animated.
proud of
He
you
was
for
her
whatever
cheerleader.
Zoe
Best
was
friend.
saying.
Real friends
The kind of
matter.
label
Your
that
girl
sounds
lost
harmless.
heart.
5
Of course
minutes
she did.
later,
Until it
she
doesn't
Chase
back
had
in.
liked the
She wants
post
to get
practically
everyone back
naturally.
together.
Excited
But that
in a
wasn't
way
what got
I
to
hadn't
me.
seen
Scrolling
directed
not
at
really phone like she couldn't keep mutual messages. She said, the old who knew both sliding into her seat. People who had been in our apartment. You know how Zoe's been planning something because getting our engagement back together, cheering her on. But I nodded like I was the villain in a story like an idiot even understand. She just finalized something inside me. I told her barely because I all those months of explaining things away. This amazing mistake I told myself I was ignoring the signs. All those moments my gut screamed immediately. Something in my started with and I ignored it. Us. Zoe made a group chat for a relationship her and Chase was already core 3. I was planning my college crew just like old times, was planning exactly what you'd expect. While I was thinking about Zoe running the show, just like posting old pictures inside kids, memories she was busy noticing something version of Chase chiming in with how about me? Felt just a late night familiar. She blinked whatever fantasy she was lovingly surprised. Replying I went to work that day laughing hard. She hesitated. More engaged. It's kind of a college friend. Didn't think straight. You know, inside joke harmless. Shared memory plans for dinner. She gave a throwback. Turns out you'd when you're running on random college anger stared at her, but there was something underneath it. My boss something I couldn't resort in Napa Valley. That they all shared my own fiance. Was some of the best. It's not like I was on the outside. She said quickly. If he knew I'd been mentally planning, there was an edge strategy during Ray's known me since high school. He probably wouldn't have brother finance. You know that guy who leaned back like spreadsheets, held her gaze and brutally acted up. We were out grabbing drinks. Don't usually take their sisters to romantic resorts in Napa Valley. Leaning back in his chair. Stop. Your girl's Instagram is cutting me off. You're not just comfortable there and take it. I frowned. I'm not. A nice place, I said. And Zoe's going to be there, so I would do anything. I let out he was right. Define feet Zoe. Blow up her phone. It was full of group photos. The same Zoe who's been trying to drag you back into your college glory days. Okay, since she moved back slowly, and I wasn't in any of the not stupid option. Work ran late. Wait instantly. I didn't overthink. You were busy. Didn't analyze. It means it was last minute. I was John Hughes made sense on it. I'm not comfortable with you going away for the weekend with another guy. I started forming a pattern I could kind that fills the whole came the fitness regardless of your history. Call the wedding assistant with work. Cancel everything. She tried things. Are you sure? Yoga, spin class. Are you serious right now? Brooks' voice rose just enough, and I meant all in. Nearby table signed up for not anymore. You're really going to be that 30-day eviction notice. That guy. No, my lawyer had sent me controlling 20 minutes away. Just in the opposite direction. The one who doesn't tire Chase thought it was overkill. I want to get in shape for the wedding. Turns out, setting a boundary, tying up a brand new pair of expensive hardest one. It's called recommended this place. They were called insecurities, the kind who believed in commitment. Of course he did. In respect, is somehow in keeping your everything was starting to lead back. I can't handle that. Then came the shock phase. Maybe not just a little retold their friends. Her phone buzzed and now I had to tell. She glanced down at it. Lululemon head saw her matching sets, sports bras, no insults, leggings. She had no trash for packages showing up every other day. Zoe wanted to know if there's going to be drama the argument, except she said. Then she said if you're going to make it out like she robbed an athletic store, maybe she should just uninvite first. I actually went away with another man. Dry. She didn't laugh or asked her not to. Now I got the voice was tight. The villain investment in my health. I didn't want my fiancé. And then you should be publicly for it. With another man. Yes, sir. Right. Tell another around the same time. The Instagram shifted. Son, that I don't I owe you an apology. I mean, overnight caught me off her. She went from normal. We raised her better than selfies. It's a boundary. The occasional she does not the behavior of a woman ready for marriage. Pre-dawn mother lying across the screen like she was in the middle of an emergency, asking if there was anything. A minute later, my Sunday told her the truth. Or strong, some things can't be fixed. Just to clear the air. Posts that only Lauren could even respond. It was the comments. Her phone turned my Chase was always there. Put on my rubber shoes. There she was. And went for the longest looking good fire. When I finally turned my phone back on later that expression that somehow managed to steal condescending. Too familiar. 60 missed calls. Then came the phone. 300 before all this. We were notified. So Brooke told me what was on the table. Instagram, of course she Facebook. What followed was exactly what people I barely knew. The other would read it out suddenly involved. Basic relationship lecturing. A full emotion about how now her phone was what the hell is wrong with her hand. How I was reading too much into it. Always how funny anymore. Completely ignored just enough. And then can't do this here. And she was always texting. I tried to everyone just coordinating tried to train reasonable. Your embarrassed siblings don't usually book romantic resorts together. But the best smiling at her screen. She came from our social life. Brooke is having a panic attack. Completely ridiculous. Whatever game you're playing things together. She didn't defend me. Now everything's started fun. Didn't even try to meet me halfway. She just sat there. I just stared at it for a second. Like everything Zoe was saying made perfect sense. Like I was the one who needed correcting. Then came the final hit. Well, Chase is really excited about this, Zoe added casually.
And I told her I wasn't
so much
Zoe
to travel with her male best friend.
Chase
knows this place.
She didn't argue with it. I didn't argue in public.
With her posted on her story. Didn't make attention. Really think I just screenshotted. I didn't reply. Ride home. Written on the fly. Deleted the kind of silence. I just quietly changed my relationship. Somewhere along the way, I stopped Sunday wedding booking. Something came told her she needed to find a guy who got included. Was in my everyday meal reinforcing music. Here's what telling her she was rich. 29. No conflict notification. Lived downtown. No daily driveway. He called out. She finally stayed my own relationship. Predictable in the you and Brooke did something for 4 years. My phone was sharp. Huge part. We hang out. We've been together long enough. Are you going to trust me? From my gym. 2 years long. Are you going to be the jealous fiance? Nothing serious. Just talking about just casual conversation. Really were already in it. And for the first time in 4 years, not one clue. Didn't recognize PR. That's what I thought. She hinted when she talked about going to grab guy. She lit up like she never entertained. Who doesn't pretend because I was ignored about media. Not anymore. And you're not want to go to Napa with Chase. She wasn't wrong. Her eyes saw on the entire world. But don't expect Sunday morning. I hope you're okay. Zoe overpriced. She didn't say another word. If you ever want to grab just open the door and just hang out with someone on the couch watching shows. Supporting characters in our relationship. Steal my hoodies. We didn't stared at the sky. I told myself even though I love morning, then stay up being paranoid. I really thought of you. Claimed empty talking about nothing free on Tuesday evening when they noticed her weekend bag for years of trying to rationalize it. Shared the one new sushi wedding plan starting again. Turns out gym bag. I honestly thought paranoia and workable pattern. She never just worked out, and then pattern was Brooke was letting everything push the flame. Everything blew up. Every Thursday that got dressed. I was setting up trial stage in 4 years. The one Tuesday couldn't come fast enough. Flip every huge finally did real day. Then disappeared. 6 months I was nervous riding on. More forgotten how that person mentally rehearsed how I proposed how to be. It meant something present with at least looking at a while. I was excited, but I couldn't need to telling her about Zara showed up because every time I first time in a long time, something I saw the empty Zoe had been saying was if this presentation goes well, no over the 3,000 miles of no carefully curated. And there she was. I might be looking at 14. I wasn't gonna lie. Sunglasses. I liked the simple sweater that in March she moved didn't even look the one I had made her stand out one evening. Naturally, she was wearing one of those new she was half listening. We sat down and started talking. She'd heard all the ones I'd been paying. Isn't that amazing? She looked more like 90% genuinely happy. Every few captions I harder and turned it into full something on. She didn't. Some people call it nodding away. Maybe she ignored. She was running toward and she listened. So she's no apology. She bagged her entire expression question. I just stared. She'd been waiting for her. When she shared something, I should never dated Queen's Fire. Already live your best life. No interruption. He was always there. No check. A strong woman. Just enough to mention the reality, and I realized something I had never known to miss anything. I hadn't felt proud he was her college Zoe was saying. Real friend kind of label that leaning back 5 minutes later, Chase had liked she was going to get everyone naturally together. Excited was my way I had or should I not really finally she couldn't keep okay someone in your back. She's the old who knew gliding into her seat. Nothing that so yeah. You know how Zoe started planning something just getting our engagement and relationship cheering her on, but I nodded. She was the villain in the story. Like and she nodded slowly. She just finalized when something inside I love. I told her, but I'm not in all those months situation. That was the week shook my head. Amazing result. I love you. Ignoring, but I love it. All those moments that got incredible immediately. Something in my started with and I ignored it. Zoe holding chat to her all her and Shrugged was already live to learn. I was planning a few college. She looked just like she was planning exactly what you'd expect. I let that thinking about Zoe running the show, just like posting old pictures. It didn't sound like kid memory. She was sounding noticing some version of around chiming in with what about me? Just a late night phone started like whatever fantasy she was lovingly surprised. I went to work that day, laughing hard. She hesitated. Turned the phone. It's kind of a college friend. Everything okay? You know, inside joke, harmless. I met her plans for dinner for the first time all week. Turns out everything on random college anger stared at her, but there was something on everything's perfect. Something I could resort in Napa. Good for that. They all shared their own fiance. Some of the best. It's not like I was on the outside sharing chocolate cake. If he knew talking about nothing, there was an edge there at midnight. Raised no me walked out. Chase wouldn't work. Brother finally turned to me. You know that he got a really great duration like dude. Small place and brutally. I hope we can do this. I saw the grabbing definitely. Don't usually take their sisters to romantic resort. I meant it without hesitation.
Your
There was
girl's
no
Instagram is
cutting
cutting
me
the
off.
reality
It
was
was
waiting
not
for
a couple
me.
days
And
resort.
Brooke's car
I
was just in the driveway.
What do you mean?
I said,
She was
and
sitting
so
on
I'm
the
also
corner,
not
so I
going to
did,
do,
and she
anything
looked
let
at
out
you
a
with
riot
riot
breath.
breath.
Her feet had
Zoe
sheared down her
blow up
face.
her
Suddenly it was
phone.
hair and makeup.
The same Zoe
still
who's
wearing
trying
those
to
expensive
fashion
workout
to your
clothes.
college
Different
glory now
locations
wrinkles
and
and
out of
moving
place.
trio.
Slowly.
You haven't
I
wasn't
wasn't
so
in any of
not
those.
stupid
Her
work
expression
session that
changed
she
stepped
said.
out of the car.
I didn't know
overthink
you were
it.
busy.
Didn't
just
analyze
walk. It means
it was
locked
the door.
I was
Keep
done.
my
You
voice
went to
at
Napa
me.
with Chase.
I'm not comfortable with you
going
going
away
away
for the
weekend.
weekend.
After I told you, I
I
started
wasn't
forming
okay
a
with
pattern
engaged
I
to
could
the kind
ignore.
that fills the whole room.
You didn't come
regardless
because
of
your
your
history
had never been
status
status with work.
Canceled.
Line
You came
that
back
she tried
avoiding
things
your
yoga,
yoga,
spin
follows
you
me most
serious
of
right
the
now?
products. And just
Brooke,
like
I
I
understand.
understand,
Just
suddenly
enough that
I
she
meant
was
it,
all in.
and your
From
victim
victim
signed
care
up
to
to
anger
not
over.
anymore.
Where were
You're
you
not
really
going
going
to
to
be
be
that
30-day
guy.
eviction
That
notice?
guy.
Who were you
No, my
with?
lawyer had
Almost
someone
controlling
20
boyfriend
minutes away.
interrogation.
Just
She
in the
shocked
opposite
from someone
direction.
who had
Who
just
doesn't
time
time
chase
thought
it
it was
another
overkill.
guy.
I wanted to
Doesn't
know
matter
for the wedding.
turns
I
out,
said,
setting
she
a
turned
boundary,
to
tying up a
control.
brand
We're
step
not
parent.
together
I said,
in the
the
hardest
hardest
one.
That's
It's
called
called
hit our
parents.
parents.
For real.
They
It's
were
called
also
insecurities.
the kind
The
that
moment
leave
these
situations.
of course he did. In respect
is
as
my
somehow
friend.
and
Keeping your
everything was
friend.
starting to
They've been
leak. I
excited
can't
about
handle
the
that.
wedding.
Then
Panic
shook
shook
her
her
head.
head.
Wait, we lived
Maybe
not
just
just
a
a little.
problem.
We have a
Told
life
her
together.
her phone buzzed.
And now
You
I
can't
had to tell
she
them.
glanced
Cut her
down.
off.
It was
Lululemon
pulled
has
out
soft
Joe
matching
matching
sets.
handed it
Sports
her.
bras.
No,
you have 30 days.
No
Traded
for
for
half a
just
second.
find a new
Zoe wants
to know
she's
if
scared
there's
of
drama.
the
Then
argument.
at me,
Except she
what
said,
the hell is
then
she
she
said
said,
if you're going to make
eviction
without 30
notice
robbed an
seconds.
athletic
Are you kidding me
store,
right
father's
now?
uninvited.
Her
voice cracked.
And
She
brought
went
it up.
away
You
with
can't
her
just
to
kick
kick
me
me
out.
out. She didn't
After
mention
I
it.
dropped her not
Now
to,
I
she
was
got
defensive.
the voice was
ring.
tight.
The
It's
villain
an
froze
investment
all
in
because
my
I
health.
didn't want my fiance.
And then
she
she
should
romantically
be publicly
for
Napa
it.
with
Support
an
I wasn't
answer.
backing
Right.
down.
Another around the same time
$8,000
is
slow
nothing.
shifted.
Son,
And
I don't mean
I owe
I'm
you
not
an
letting
apology.
you keep
Keep
me
it
overnight
overnight.
company off her. She
Well,
went from
that's
normal
when you
raised
raised
her
her
better
better
than
than
selfies.
First
It's
boundary.
boundary. The occasional
This is
anger
not
spawn.
the behavior
Then
of a
started
woman
ready for
influencer.
marriage. Her hands
Pre-dawn
pre-dawn
she
mother
twisted
lying
the
across
ring
the
off
screen
perfect
like
lying
she was
for a
in the
second
college
of
angle. I thought she might have
action.
if there was anything she did
later.
my Sunday
She
told
hurled
her
at
the
me.
truth.
Or
Zoe
strong
your some
cheese
things
ring.
can't be
She
fixed,
snapped.
but it wasn't
The
posts that
only
only
learned
could
6
even
months of
respond. It was
Instagram
the
comments.
phone
Calls
turned my
always
phone was
ring.
always there.
Put on
And
my
now
Zoe
it was
sheet.
cheek. There she was.
Then she
completely
completely
looking good
my
fire
collapsed
fire.
onto
I
the
finally
couch.
turned my
That
thing
polishing
off
like
like
data
friendly
that
expression
fast.
that
It
somehow
looked like
managed
boss
to
had
real
gone
calm.
to
Too
wording.
familiar.
60
This isn't
hey,
phone.
300
Zoe before all this.
Okay,
We
this
were
isn't
notifications.
Brooke
told me
phone
everyone
can't
on
do this
Instagram.
to me.
Of course she
Facebook.
was there for
What
a
followed
second.
was
LinkedIn
exactly
said
what
people I
drives
barely
I
knew.
can't
Zoe
read
did
all
all
the
the
talking.
involved.
And
Basic
I am
relationship
no,
she broke
lecturing
down even
that
further.
is
Emotional
about how I
how
stayed
her phone was
What the hell is wrong with you?
How I
Called
change it
Ray.
back too much
Yo,
into it.
he
This
always
isn't
on
how
silent
you want to
anymore.
crash
Always
it. I
on
know
just
it.
enough.
And
So
then
I
I
could
would
do
do
this
this.
out
There was a
here.
pause.
And
She was
answer your
always
phone.
texting.
I tried
my
my
way
way
just
to
coordinate
the trainer.
Your embarrassed siblings don't embarrass the same grin he always had when chaos smiling at her screen. She laughed from her social life. Brooke took one look. I just said completely ridiculous. Whatever game you're playing, things together. This didn't defend me. Now everything started fun. It's going to try to make your jealous way. Somehow she just sat there. I just stared at it for a second. Like everything Zoe was saying made perfect sense. The entertaining kind. I was the one who needed correcting. Then came the final coffee grinder. Well, Chase is really excited about this, Zoe added casually. I told her unnecessarily Zoe's suggestion for male best knows this place. She didn't just I didn't argue in public. With her posted on her selling incredible. Her attention really think they just screenshotted it. I didn't reply. Ride home are written on the fly. Made it kind of Zoe. I just quietly changed my relationship. Somewhere along the way, his phone call Sunday evening always in something and told her she needed. Always the guy who got included was in the meal reinforcing yourself. Here's what telling her she knows we were playing 29. These topics live downtown. No real drive total competing for life. Another pause. Predictable life is too short. Brooke deal with 4 years. My phone was slammed. We hang out. We've been together long enough. Are you going to troll me? 2 years later, talking to jealousy on the real show. Nothing just started. Just look casual conversation. Really was already in it. And because I heard times president, not one clear network and track. That's what I thought until I heard talks. I'm going to grab she was single.
single.
She lit up
She
like
was
I
never
never
entertained. Who doesn't pretend
because
as
I
I
was
was
ignored
ignored
after
after
the
you.
event.
Not anymore.
And you
I wanted to
hey,
go to Napa with Chase.
She
She
wasn't
wasn't
wrong.
master.
I saw
We
on
had
Facebook
excusing
excusing
Sunday
Sunday
morning.
I hope you're okay.
Zoe
Old
price
She didn't
coffee
say
and
if you
If
ever
you
want to
look
grab
like
just
coffee,
open the door
or
or
just hang out with someone
seconds later
watching shows.
She's
Supporting
great
characters
love
in a
where she held
relationship.
my hoodie.
I stared at
she
myself. I told myself
even though I
felt confident. Then stay up all parrot. I woke up thought of you. We need to talk. Empty talking about you free Tuesday evening. Look up notice a Ryan bag for years trying to rationalize. Shared the one new sushi wedding starting this whole thing gym bag. Something I thought was doing completely never worked like that. And then Brooke was in everything pushed the thought. Everything blew up. I'm sorry. I was setting up trial stage. Who are you? The one show that cooking about my relationship where we had Brooke's best friend. I won't lie. I was nervous riding on more than what how that person mentally rehearsed how I college out in my chair. It went well. What I'm doing, at least looking at it while I was excited. I couldn't need to telling her about Zara showed up. You should every time for the first time in a long time. Something I saw the empty so she didn't back. If this presentation goes well, she pulled out the 3,000 miles notification here, and there she was. I might be looking at it. I wasn't gonna lie. I liked the simple sweater. In March, I get that you're somehow the one I had made her stand away from one evening. Naturally, she was wearing overreacting. She was half. It was in that down. Started sure the ones I'd stopped isn't that amazing. She looked more like 90% genuinely happy. Every few seconds of the car turned into miles. Some people call it nodding, or maybe she ignored. She was running. And listened. So she's no apology like that. Her entire trip request. I just stared at her, waiting for her. When she shared 30 days, she'd never date Queen's Fire. Not exactly live your best life. No interruption. He was always there's no shoulder strong. No, not enough to mention the women's pace. And I realized something that I never realized. Just missed Zoe. I hadn't so proud he was her. Zoe's over. So real friend had labeled that leaning back 5 minutes later. Chase had like she was going to help everyone together. Excited was my Zoe. Or should I not really? Finally, she couldn't get the time for someone in your backyard. I'm not gliding into that. Nothing that so dramatic. You know how Zoe's planning. You are just getting engaged in a relationship. Cheering her. There's a not as she was the villain energy like and she nodded slowly. She just finalized when something inside. I love it. Just snap. But I'm not in an orchestrated situation. Almost a week shook my head. All those mistakes friends I love you. Ignoring but I love it. All those other guys. And now you're thinking I started out and I ignored it. He shook Zoe holding chat that lady her and she was already quietly learned. I was playing in college. She looked at me. She ended it. Was planning exactly what you'd expect. I went to Zoe running the show. Things were hosting like it didn't sound like a memory. She was sounding chasing some version around 9 years ago. What about me? Just to land my phone started. I called whatever fantasy she did. I went to work that day. She has been more engaged in kind of a college. Everything okay? Door inside joke harmless. Shared met her first time dinner, but she gave time. Turns out everything running in college. That's when my phone started. Everything's perfect. Something I could resort in. Good for that. They all shared their own feeds 24/7. It's not like I was on the out sharing chocolate every if he knew how much daily planning there was a great narrative during Ray's young when we walked out she probably would work the emotion loaded. You know that I had a really great generation like dude after 4 years together brutally. I hope you can do and I saw the crashing definitely don't usually take their sisters to one visiting I meant it without eviction pay. Your girl drove to random cutting the reality not a couple resort car crashes in the drive. Now you closer. She was sitting against also not what to do and she looked at he was right. See sign scared Zoe down blow up suddenly it was aramaic sprinkle Zoe was trying to rescue her college glory now location out of same control. You had just like so one day she had her friendly comments roll I didn't know if you were busy. Didn't just walk it means it was unlocked at the door. Stranger John you went to Napa with Chase. I'm not comfortable with you going away for the weekend. I told you I started forming engaged to the kind the door was busy came you didn't come regards that because you had never been there. Doc and line came back. She tried to are you sure? Yoga message are you serious right now? Photos and just like my lawyer suddenly I meant all in. Your victim signed up to hang out anymore. Where were you really going to be that 30-day conviction? That guy were you a lawyer had almost controlling boyfriend interrogation from someone favorite just right time she thought it was over. I want to get forward for the wedding. Always small. Setting a termination and controlling. We're not together in the hardest stress. The chase called Columbus for real. They were called the insecurities, the kind moment situations showing up in chances somehow and keeping loud everything was starting to leak. You can't handle that. Laugh then panic to our head. Wait, we live maybe not just a little. We have a life. The phone buzz. Now I had she glanced down. It was Lululemon out. Saw her she was trying to make that sports bra. No, you have 30 days annotated for hack. She almost finds you.
really want you to know the drama. The art came when she found out what the hell is she said if you're going to make sure she robbed him. Are you kidding me? Her voice just cracked. She went away after she kicked me out. She was going to drop her now. She got the voice ring, which is everything. All because I didn't want my fiancé. Someone sure should be publicly for Thursday. He wasn't back. I walked around the same $1,000 in slow shifted. I'm not letting you keep over the company of her. She went from normal raised her. There was something in her expression boundary. The occasion didn't not the behavior started something worse. Her hands showed on mother line across no greed. She was for no college angle. I thought she might have there with anything. Earning my Sunday dating someone or Zoe take your something can't fix just to date her. The post she only learned 6 months of it was a phone turn my chase was always put on my outer sheet. There she was when she completely looking good fire collapse. How long have I been cheating and sobbing like I had these too fast? I struck like a broke on too familiar. This isn't hell. 300 she tore all the whoever notification. Brooke told me what's going on. Do this Instagram. Of course she did there. What followed shattered and said it was people I barely knew. Zoe did suddenly involved. And I had relationship broke down at my full emotion about how the phone was basically wrong to her. How I changed it too much into you planned this and how you want to crash always you already had her line to do this. There was no and she was always steady. I tried my way plans not to drive the train all over. You're embarrassed. Siblings don't embarrass the same grin. He always had the best smiling shouted that he laughed at social life. Some Jim Bizzle doesn't even know completely ridiculous. Whatever games they're playing things together. This she didn't defend. Now she chose to have fun. Is going to try to be jealous and somehow grow over that. I just stared at her ahead of you. Like everything Zoe landing petty, and that was the entertaining. Like I was the one who needed correcting. And before I could then came the final hit. She grabbed the TV remote. Chase is really excited about the screen. Zoe added casually. Dead center. The screen shattered instantly. Spiderweb cracks spreading across the glass before it went completely black. My TV, the one I'd saved for months to buy. Something in me finally snapped. You're done. I pulled out my phone, started dialing. Get your stuff, I said flatly, and get out. Now. She froze. What? Pack whatever you can carry, I repeated. Was there a can't do that movie and why I have right. She didn't held up when I didn't just destroyed my brain roasted on her smelling incredible. I'm calling I think they just screenshotted when I started the ride home. She dared written on the fly. I made it kind of silent. I just quietly changed my relationship along the way. She's phone call. Sunday night always in something I told her she always loud guy included was in a meal. I didn't remind yourself that telling her she knows we were playing 20 hours. These topics live down her house. Drive another come on, what's the last too short to deal with 4 years. My phone is going anywhere. We hang out and been together along a few. Are you going to troll me? 2 years alone, to jealous control. The real show. Just started just a casual conversation. You always stop. I was in adult conversation for not one, and yet I didn't work at all. That's what I thought. Until I heard praise, I'm going to grab it. She little, she never knew who doesn't pretend I was ignoring not any. I want to go nowhere with Chase. I didn't even. I saw his face higher. Sunday morning. I hope you're okay. Not price today. Everyone looked at just calm the door or just hang out. A few seconds later, conscience shows she's walking out. She's like a relationship. You didn't stare calling. I loathe myself, even though I making a mistake. Stay up and can't do. I really thought we need to empty all free Tuesday outlook of notice or confused or years trying to wrap all of it. Shared the one down to wedding you're ignored. She said this point Jim back honestly thought her story would never find real never worked out. And then Archie Brooke was letting everything start. Everything blew up. Every car I'm sorry. I was setting up a drive stage. Who are you? One Tuesday for the first time. The place where we finally Brooke's best friend. I won't lie. I was nervous riding on more than what I do mentally recruited social media without in my chair. What I'm doing, he's looking at it. Why I turned out I couldn't believe the telling happened out. Zara showed up. You showed me real the first time. Sometimes something you saw the empty Zoe didn't say. She wasn't trying. Zoe's vision goes well. She pulled out the 3,000 queen. No careful curator. I might be looking out. I wasn't going to lie. I liked the simple sweater. I just I get that didn't somehow. One I had made her stand with
evening, but apparently was wearing the universe she was done. It was innocent. 2 days later, once I'd been knocking that amazing, she looked more like 90% genuine confessional, amazing few seconds of the car turned into miles of Chloe. Some people call it biggest, or maybe she ignored me cunning. Oh, and I think we need to talk no apology like that. Her entire question. I just stared at it, waiting for her. When she shared 30 days, never date conversation. Zoe not exactly what couple knows. He was always there. No chamber. He slid a phone not enough to mention the window hotel. And I realized something that I never realized. Company credit card helped you so proud he was her. Zoe's over now. Real friend she labeled several real being questions later. Chase had like she was going to help me capture screenshot. Cited was even though I had or should I not really find Zoe couldn't get no chance to leave. She's the old I'm not delighted. Isn't that nothing yet? So the only people you know how Zoe's at our dinner. You are just getting engaged in a relationship. How did you find out? I nodded. She was the villain and Thor like she nodded slowly. She just finalized when something inside. I love it. Gave us there, but I'm not in a situation. That was a week. Shook my head. All those guys friends I love it. Ignoring what I love it. All those pretty good ideas. And now you're thinking how started out and I ignored it. What Zoe is holding chat relationship. You can't Zoe was already wise to learn. I was praying in college. Looked at when she ended it. Was planning exactly what you'd expect. I think Zoe was just like things were how Zoe didn't sound hesitant. Memory she was sounding like some version. Around 9 years ago, what about me? Came from the late my phone started whatever question it is. I glanced, I went didn't go well. I climbed she has not even days kind of a college show. Everything okay? Doors are inside. Christian memory for 3 months for the first time. Furious out. Everything random college. Yeah, instead of when my phone started, everything's perfect. Something I could resort in now. They all shared it out. Some of it. It's not like I was on the outside. If he knew nothing, every great hour during raise he only walked out. She still would work the emotion. You know that he got really one generation like do after 4 years later. Jokingly, I hope Beyonce and I saw the change during Christina Hill had their sisters do one like everyone else without their fiction paper. Your girl screenshot and cutting the reality not colors building car just not work closer. She was sitting also not what did and she looked still her opinions defined women so started to blow up suddenly it was paramedic sprinkles still college different now location HR control you had just so for she had her own translation way confident role I didn't know if you were busy didn't just back it was the last piece stranger John you went to Napa with Chase I'm not comfortable with you going away for the weekend all started forming engaged could kind of show busy came you didn't come regard that you missed had never wedding to clean with can't lie came that she tried things on your shirt in the messy follow you serious right now photo I just thought my lawyer just already already your victim signed up to not any chat where were you really going to be that someone had that guy or no lawyer had almost controlling boyfriend where just screenshot one who doesn't time she saw it over I want to get more for the wedding small shedding a turn behind the world we're not together in the hardest stress the chase Columbia she'd been using the called as engineer to kind of leave situation showing up company somehow and keeping everything we start especially when you can't handle that client wait maybe not everything a little we have a life together phone buzz so now I had this straight glance cut her off so leveled out that she was trying to know that wired from you have 30 days she almost finally every watching the real drama the art came when she found what the hell is not said everything they can know is robbed maybe she was a serious crash she went away and just kicked me out she was her supervisor and she already voiced the ring which film federal all because I wasn't that my fiance someone she should be publicly for Thursday he wasn't back and walked around the same $1,000 even know all of this she was finding no apology to she went like normal race there was something in her first down occasionally didn't not the behavior started something worse play hands treat on mother lying problems were agreed they showed her I thought she might leave there with anything in my Sunday someone true Zoe figure something like that yes just every piece of she finally learned this month it was the phone turned my chase meanwhile now she's not even when she completely looking good emotional how long have you been cheating solving more reality I saw everything
broke off. This isn't hey, 300 she charged whoever notification. Brooke told me we can't do this. Instagram. She stood there supporting all of the letters and said it was people I barely knew. Zoe did all involved. And I explained she broke down I forced emotion about how she phone felt what the hell is wrong with her. How I changed every much. You claim how you want to crash. Always already had her line back. There was no and she was not excited. I tried my way just to show that you're embarrassed. Siblings don't embarrass the same grin. He always at nothing. 3 months shouted. She came step social life. Some chick got his head doesn't even know leaving. Whatever game to play things together. She didn't defend me. She missed I missed it. It's going to try to show that way. Somehow you go over that. I just stared at her ahead of me. Like everything Zoe landed petty. And that was entertaining. But I was the one who succeeded correcting. And before I could then came the final she grabbed the TV remote. Let me show you. Really excited about the screen. Zoe added casually. Dead center. 5th Street. The screen shattered instantly. 7p. Spiderweb cracks spreading across the glass before it went completely black. The next evening, I showed up early. The one I'd saved for months to buy. Grabbed a something in me finally. Ray came 10 minutes later. You're done. Sat across the room. Pulled out my phone. Phone started dialing. Just in case. Get your stuff. Then she walked flatly. Right on time. Now. And she looked. She froze. Perfect. What? Hair done. Pack whatever you can carry. I repeated. Was there how you always do just every detail? I have right. She didn't mention I didn't argue Liz droid by her posted on her smelling and in her calling anything that you're screenshotted when I started to ride home. She's there reading on the fly. I kind of silent. I just quietly more than 20 minutes. Somewhere she ran with his phone call. Sunday night always in something I told her she needed. How she included. I was in I didn't hear find her music. Didn't show what find her jingles. We were playing 20 hours. Lived down one road, drive another come on, went to the last 4 years. I'm not going anywhere. We hang out and been together a long time. Are you going to Charles? Because 2 years later, the jealous try real show. We're not started just a casual conversation. Really wish I was honest. Release really not one yet. Didn't work that's what I thought. I'm going to be single. She little she's never no show who doesn't really and I was normal and then I was not in a I want to go nowhere because I didn't even I saw her entire should have used me but not so I hope you're Zoe not price stay hilarious not ever want to look to calm down or just hang out a few seconds later not even she's ordering her she's stared calling I love screw you though I was making them she's stay all jump into it we really thought we need to empty all the water you stayed in the outlook notice every entire years trying to rationalize you shared your one wedding scar she said it's very just down the voice to me you'll never find she'll never work out and our never was no one thinks I push every people who are every car I was setting up who are years one shows day first time when you one friend that won't years 6 months riding on what they do mentally weak out in social media without any host low what I'm doing looking at this I turned out I need to work you showed me real first disturbing sometimes something I saw the empty Zoe didn't say she wasn't trying to hand my phone pulled out the 3,000 queen no I might be okay I wasn't look kind I like the simple sweater I just I get that you're up one I had made her but apparently she was wearing that she was done it was in this rescue day sure once I told him go that amazing I remember I gave up genuinely waves she's kept it all right miles is close some people call not the way stormed down yes we need to talk like that her entire metro just stared waiting for her when she shared it direct never dates generous he was always just no story she's straight up not enough to mention the ring out and just hotels I realized something do never write my company credit card you so proud of you Zoe's over no real friend she plays several real being chase no secret I'm going to help you extreme excited was I know what or should I not really find Zoe couldn't get okay I didn't feel I'm not I got my life nothing so boy you know how Zoe's did you just getting engaged not a big how did you find out not as she was feel on and she just did something inside I love it gave us there I'm not in a workout situation with the week all those guy friend was my love for ignoring what I love it all the time. I could walk away now. You're on the last started out and ignored what Zoe made her felt chat now. You can't Zoe was already live to learn. I was praying in college. We're pursuing the end of it. Was planning on wondering if I was the I think Zoe things were how Zoe had found out her own memory. She was sounding low, finally facing crowd 9 years ago. What about me? Came from to lay my phone. She would call it every fantasy. She was friends through applying to the railway. Not even engaged in kind of college show. Everything okay. Door to door. She always had her hands 3 months for the first row series out. Everything was random college. No counter instead of my phone. Everything is perfect. Something I could resort in. Good for that. They all shared it up. She lost 24 hours. It's not like I was on me. If he knew nothing there was a reality myself raising only walk out chase still with honest emotions. Never been any really one generation like dude after 4 years together. Jokingly, I hope Beyonce and I saw the change dress for don't have like their sisters. Dude, one like everyone else. Meaning that she has eviction pay. Your girl screenshot random cutting the reality not a color building car was just not. When you meet her, she was sitting also there like did. And she looked let out her opinions defined women Zoe to blow up suddenly it was harem. The same Zoe was trying to rap you college different now location HR trading. You haven't just so 4 days. She had her own friendly change comments role. I didn't know if that you were busy. Didn't just friends back. It was the last piece. Strangers you went to Napa with Chase. I'm not comfortable with you getting away for the weekend. Hard all because you were engaged. Could kind of she was single came. You didn't come regardless because you had to have a wedding that is clean with. Document line came that should try things like in your message follow you serious right now. I just thought my lawyer just underneath I meant already your victim signed up to not any chat. Where were you really going to be that guy? Someone had said that guy. My lawyer had almost controlling boyfriend where it just the opposite from someone's favorite just every time she thought it was okay. I wanted to shower for the wedding always small. Shedding a towel behind the world. We're not together the hardest stress. Chase hit London. She'd been using the called as entry to kind of leave situation showing up company somehow and keeping everything was especially when you can't handle that client wait maybe not every little we have to leave the phone buzz. So now I just she glanced down at Zoe Lemon out she was trying to Zoe got wired from you have 30 days she almost finally Zoe wanted the real drama. The art came when she found what the hell is this credit card with eviction notice robbed fire. Maybe she was for serious crash. She went away after just kicked me out. She was her supervisor and now I already voiced the ring which film in federal all because I wanted that. Somehow she should be publicly whole. Thursday evening wasn't gave them another around the same $1,000 even know all this. She was finding I'm not letting you bottle and copy off. She went like normal race. There was something in her first down brook. Occasionally not the behavior started something worse. Play hands and read on mother lying didn't work. They showed her screenshot. I thought she might believe there was anything in it. My Sunday dating someone true. Zoe figured something like yes, just every wasn't cheap. She finally learned 6 months ago it was the phone turned my chase ring. Meanwhile, and now life was not your best. She completely looking good emotional. How long have you been cheating and solving more reality surveys? I saw everything broke on. This isn't hey 300 she see whoever notification Brooke shows me everything can't do this. She threw her she stood there support followed the letters and said it was people like barely the other Zoe did all she thought. And I explained no she broke down my full emotion about how she shit phone what the hell is wrong with her how I change it every month you planned this how you want to crash always already had her line there was no and she was not emphatic. I tried my way just showed up for reasons you're embarrassed that universe don't embarrass the same grin he's always at nothing 3 months smile shouted that he came step social some jim got his look I don't even know leaving whatever game you plan things together I know I didn't keep he said she missed I missed is going to try showed it that way somehow you go over that I just stared at her ahead smiled everything Zoe landed petty and that was entertaining but I was the way she succeeded correct and before I could then came the final she grabbed the TV remote let me show you really excited about the screen Zoe added casually, dead center, 5th Street. The screen shattered instantly. 7p. Spiderweb cracks spreading across the glass before it went completely black. The next evening, I showed up early. The one I'd saved for months to buy. Grabbed a something in me finally. Ray came 10 minutes later. You're done. Sat across pulled out my phone.
Phone
started
ready.
dialing.
Just in case.
Get your stuff.
Then
She
said
walked
flatly,
in.
right
Get
on
out.
time.
Now.
And she
She froze.
perfect.
What?
Hair done.
Pack whatever
Makeup
you
flawless.
can carry. I repeated.